I'm Dr. Bellatacastro. Welcome back to my second video of the semester. Out of the two chapters, I chose chapter 8, which includes power and influence tactics. Power and influence tactics includes some concepts. Power is people that are able to influence other people in an organization. There are authority. Authority involves the rights, prerogatives, obligations, and duties associated with particular positions in an organization or social system. There are three types of influence process. The influence process is the psychological explanation for interpersonal influence that involves the motives and perception of the target person in relation to the action of the agents and the context in which interaction occurs. Number one is instrumental compliance. Target carry out a request action for the purpose of obtaining a tangible reward, or these people are trying to avoid getting in trouble. Utilization. The target person becomes committed to support and implement proposals made by the agent. Number three, personal identification. Target imitates the agent behavior or adopts the same attitudes to please the agent and to be like the agent. These people support the agent 100%, and they're very influenced. There are three types of influence tactics. Number one is impression management. They influence people to like the agent or have the favorable evaluation of the agent. Political. Use influence organizational decision or gain benefit from a group or people. Proactive. Tactics have immediate task objectives. Example, getting the target person to carry out a new task or change the procedures for the current task. Influence outcomes. Number one, commitment. When target makes great effort to carry out request or implement the decision effectively. Compliance. Number two, target person is willing to carry out a request but is apathetic rather than enthusiastic. These people are kind of iffy about it. Resistance. Target person is opposed to the proposal or request. These people don't want nothing to do with it. And with that, there's some power sources, which I'm gonna go into later down the chapter. The PowerPoint. Number one is legitimate power, reward power, coercive power. Number four, referent power, expert power, information power, ecological power. Power can be acquired and lost. It is explained in social exchange theory, strategic contingency theory, and institutionalization of power. There are consequences for power. Good ones, bad ones. Effective leaders have more expert and referent power, rely on personal power more than position power, have moderate amount of position power. A moderate amount of position power is necessary. Some of the negatives. Personal power is less susceptible to misuse. Also, the extensive expert power can lead to failure. It happens sometimes. Guidelines for using legitimate authority. So I'm back into it. They make polite and clear requests. Explain the reason for the request. They do not exceed the scope of their authority. They verify authority if necessary. They follow up with proper channels, follow up to verify compliance. Reward power guidelines. They offer rewards that people desire, offer rewards that are fair and ethical. They do not promise more than they can deliver. They provide rewards as promised. They use rewards in a symbolic way, not to manipulate the people. Cohesive guidelines to maintain discipline. This is very important. These people have to explain the rules and requirement, respond to infractions promptly and consistently without showing any favoritism. Favoritism in the workplace is deadly. And also, it is very important for people in an organization to gather the facts before they act. It's important. Except for serious infractions, use verbal warnings. Verbal warnings is a good tool to show people, to discipline them. But it is also important to invite people to correct their own problems so they can figure it out themselves instead of giving them write-ups or whatever it is. Let them figure it out and learn from it. Because at the end of the day, we're humans. We learn from our mistakes. And it's also important for us to maintain our credibility if non-compliance continues. We have to show them who's the boss. Things can't just be thrown around or whatever it is. And it is important for us to use the punishment that are fair and legitimate. It's important for us to be ethical as well and do not abuse our power. Ask for power guidelines. Explain the reason for a request or proposal. Provide evidence that a proposal will be successful. Don't make rash, careless, or inconsistent statements. Do not lie, exaggerate, or misrepresent the facts. Listen seriously to the person's concerns and suggestions. Act confident and decisive in a crisis. These people are the big dogs in the organization. Referring power involves with they show acceptance and positive regard. They are supportive and helpful. They use sincere forms of integration. They keep their promises and commitments. Make self-sacrifice to benefit others. They lead by example. These are the true leaders. Influence tactics involves rational persuasion, uprising, inspiration appeals, consolation, collaboration, integration, personal appeals, exchange, coalition tactics, and pressure. Proactive influence core tactics. So these tactics right here, it shows you in this graph the direction of use of the tactics, the results and the combinations and the general effectiveness of these tactics, as you can see in this graph. Proactive. Beautiful. And that wraps up for this chapter. It was pretty long, but let's get into chapter 14. So chapter 14 is cross-cultural and leadership. Important for us to actually research these cross-cultural for one, globalization. Also the need to influence people from other cultures. Validate leadership theories in other cultures. We need to understand the differences, throughout different cultures, because they do exist. So we gotta acknowledge that and do research so we can understand it, eventually respect it. The different types of cross-cultural studies. There are behavioral skills and traits. Number 2, beliefs about effective behavior skills and traits. Number 3, differences in leadership patterns. Number 4, relationships between leadership and subordinate outcomes. So with the research findings in the cultural value dimension, there's some of them is power distance, acceptance of unequal distribution of power and status in organization. Uncertainty avoidance. There's more fear of the unknown. People desire more security, stability, and order. Individualism versus collectivism. There is a need of autonomy of individuals are more important than the collective need of a group. Gender egalitarianism. Men and women receive equal treatment. Both sexes are desirable and important for them. Performance orientation. High performance and individual achievement are valued. Human orientation. Strong concern for the welfare of other people and the willingness to sacrifice one's own self-interest. These people, they look into humane care of people. So the GLOBE project is the Global Leadership Organization Behavior Effectiveness. So it's a cross-cultural study in over 60 major regions around the country, around different countries. And also gender leadership. There is sex discrimination. There are a low number of women who hold important high levels of leadership position. Fun fact, the Fortune 500, only 25 out of the 500 are in a CEO position. In Newark, New Jersey, we have, I guess, one Fortune 500, which is Prudential, and the CEO is a male. Just fun fact. The theories of male advantage. Males are more qualified. Theories of feminine advantage. Women possess the values and skills necessary for effective leadership. Glass ceiling explanation is the barriers of advancement for women and minorities. There's a lot of blockage for them to actually grow within the company, putting them at a disadvantage, even if they qualify. Research finding on gender differences. A meta-analysis found no overall difference in effectiveness. So it doesn't matter if you're male, female, they can complete the job and do it right. Doesn't matter if you're male, female, nobody does it better than another. But what is true is that females are discriminated. They're not allowed to be in these powerful positions. But there was a limitation in the research. Success today in a competitive environment calls for organizations to make the best use of tablet available to them. Also, one thing in the chapter is managing diversity. This right here is something I was looking forward to. I live in the city of Newark. Newark is a well diverse city, and there's a lot of different cultures, and I plan on staying in the city of Newark because of it. And there's a lot of obstacles with, I guess, diverse neighborhoods, but I'm up for the challenge, and luckily I'm learning some of the things how I can overcome these obstacles. So number one is fostering appreciation and tolerance. For one, we got to set an example in your own behavior of appreciation for diversity. As a leader, you have to set an example, and encourage diversity. Encourage respect for individual differences. It's okay to have a different opinion, but as I grew older, I learned how to respect other people for the differences. Respect goes a long, far way. Respect is everything. Promote understanding of different values, beliefs, and traditions. Explain the benefits of diversity to the organization. Encourage and support the ones who tolerate and promote diversity. Discourage the use of stereotypes. That is unacceptable in work environments. It creates this hostile environment in a workplace, and it disrupts the culture and disrupts the productivity of people. So stereotypes is a no-no, no matter where you are. Identify biased beliefs and role expectations for women and minorities. Challenge people who make prejudiced comments. You got to challenge them. You got to call them out. And if you see it, and you got to take disciplinary actions against to stop harassment for minorities and women. Again, it creates this hostile environment, making them feel that they're not welcome. And it is important for us to make people feel welcome and respect them. And providing equal opportunity. Hire more minorities, women. There is certain things in place to hire more minorities and women. Definitely encourage them. I think that's very important to encourage women and minorities to work for big companies and corporations, so they could move up in ranks. Um, I believe that everybody deserves an equal opportunity. Everybody is gifted in their own ways, but nobody should be blocked to shine and move up within the company. And I guess that wraps up my project. It was cool, and I learned a lot throughout the semester. And thank you, Dr. Bello de Castro. I hope to hear from you in my last semester for the fall. And thank you.